meeting of the Maine Township Board of Trustees. I'd like everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Hobart? Yes. Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Assessor Craig?
Here.
Highway Commissioner Buffett?
Here.
Thank you very much. We'll go through our agenda now, beginning with motions. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 27th, 2022 for the board meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes of September 27, 2022 board meeting. Waive the reading.
Second.
Any comments or questions, Heather? Changes? Hearing none, I'll make a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Hobart?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
All right. Any comments? Hearing none. Make a roll call. Let's move on to the next one. I have a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, did I have a motion for the second one?
No, yeah.
Okay. Motion, do I have a motion for the approval of the minutes of September 2022 agency funding special meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the agency special funding special meeting on September 20th, 2022.
Second.
Any changes? Hearing none, we have a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Hobart?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
We have a motion to approve the general assistance expenditures.
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of September 30th, 2022 and October 14th, 2022, and general assistance checks number 54415 through check number 54475 in the amount of $52,104.95.
Second.
Any questions on those? Yes? All right. We have a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Hobart?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the road district expenditures.
I will make a motion to approve payroll for pay dates of September 30th, 2022 and October 14th, 2022, and road district checks number 22573 through check number 22614 in the amount of $439,980.52.
Second.
Any comments or questions? We have a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Hobart?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
We have a motion for approval of the general town fund expenditures.
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of September 30th, 2022 and October 14th, 2022 and general town fund checks 59768 through check 59823 in the amount of $303,707.07.
Second.
Any changes or corrections? We have a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Hobart?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have some guests here from Countryside Saloon? Okay, would you please step up here? So I'm very happy to invite as a guest this evening who work with Countryside, owners of Countryside Saloons. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure which ones of these people you are.
I'm Janet.
Janet.
Cornell Barr.
Janet and Cornell. Thank you very much for coming here this evening. And I understand this check is from you and also from Wesley and Joseph Bellini too, is that
Right.
correct?
It's on behalf of all countryside.
All right, thank you. I want to tell you that we appreciate you very much. We actually dine at your restaurant a lot. We're right down the road.
And you also do bingo.
So, but.
Yes, tons of gift cards, thank you for that, they love it
I
there. They win, and then they go straight to countryside.
Right, we appreciate it.
Can you take a picture?
We can take a picture.
Okay, great, okay.
So I'll say, we've talked about this, we've been doing a raffle for the Bears, halftime raffle, jersey raffle. We've been doing it for about 15 years now. And I think that we have donated over $60,000 to the Maine Township Food Pantry. So this is from last year and this year.
All right, thank you very much, we appreciate it.
Our favorite places.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
On board. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we appreciate you coming by this evening. Please also tell us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good to see you.
you.
Nice seeing you both.
All right. Did you check? Did you check?
I did.
Okay. All right, so we have next on our agenda, public participation, but I understand there are no requests for public participation this evening. So we have two matters under old business. I would like to move one of them a little later in the program, just because I think it might take us a little time to discuss it. That is the tree removal, tree trimming contract. I know some people are interested, including Jim, maybe he'll arrive later. Discussion of collection of ordinance fines. We've had this on our agenda before, and I'm continuing on the agenda for any updates. Is there anything you'd like to add as to where we are with this?
I mean, we're pursuing different avenues. It was my understanding that the board or you weren't interested in pursuing the adjudication, which is kind of required for them to have their trial before we go to collections. So I'm going to pursue different avenues through Cook County, and then I can report back to the board after that. So.
Okay. I understand you're also looking at collection agencies. Are you still doing that?
Well, that's being put on pause until we could talk to the county about other issues. So, because they're required to have a trial before we can go to collections, we have to give them a chance to, contest the ticket. So.
Yeah, certainly if we were going to put a lien on it, or if we were going to do something like that, we would need to. But a collection agency is something I think we can pursue, but we can talk about that later. I've also been talking to Niles about going to observe their adjudicating proceedings too, to see how they're done. I understand that they hire an attorney to handle all of them for the village of Niles. We might hire that person too, but of course that would be an expenditure that we'd have to look at.
Yeah, Niles does a good program, so be good.
Okay, so we'll just continue that on our agenda for a possible further discussion next month? Sure. Okay, fine. All right, then moving on to new business. I would like to note that this month is National Code Compliance Month. And the information I have about this is that it was in 1997 that Maine Township implemented a new state law providing for a township code enforcement officer, and that the landmark legislation was was sponsored at the request of our township. So it granted Maine Township the authority to enforce property maintenance and garbage and parking ordinances, and something we previously could not do. And I just want to recognize our code enforcement officer, Mayor. Just if you would stand for a minute, I just really want to thank you for all the hard work that you do. So anyway, thank you, and have a good code compliance month. Thanks, David. Okay, So the next thing on our agenda is something we have a couple of guests here for, our public relations consultant rate and contract. And I have this down for discussion and vote. I'm not sure if we're ready for a vote tonight, but it certainly we'd like to discuss it a little bit. We've had a contract with M3 for nearly a year now. I remember it seems like yesterday when we entered into it. Would you like to come up and say a few words about this, Robert and Marty?
Good evening, Supervisor Diamond and Board of Trustees. As the supervisor mentioned, we approached her a couple weeks ago to get this on the agenda as our contract is coming up here at the end of next month. And we're just wanting to take this time, of course, you have in your packets the presentation that we made, kind of the annual review of what we put into place over the last year. But we wanted to take this time, since you have that report already, just to ask if you'd like this if you'd like us to go through the report and kind of hit some main points from it, or if you've had a chance, we can just dive right in with any questions. So it's at the discretion of the supervisor.
I'll ask the board members if they want any presentation about it, or if they've read it already, but right into questions, any preferences?
I read it. I don't know if you want, just for the audience, to share just a couple of the, I was actually pretty amazed at some of like the amount of impressions and things I've gotten, and I didn't know if you wanted to share those for the public.
Yeah, if you'd like to go over the highlights of that.
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, essentially, you know, we've been formed as an LLC here for a year, and we got right to work, kind of participating with you, Trustee Horvath, and Supervisor Diamond and Dana on the partial rebranding aspect, which we know is still ongoing, and kind of have implemented the self-produced marketing audit, main facets of that, which we dive into there. But essentially, we're very proud of kind of the steps we've taken to bring Maine Township into a stronger communication sphere with the residents we serve. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple slides here, but I'll let Robert kind of go over the major milestones.
Well, Trustee Horvath, I'm happy to kind of skip ahead to the impressions. So we ran 2 advertising campaigns over the course of our contract here. One was on Facebook, and that campaign was centered on increasing the number of likes and followers to our Facebook page. So the majority of our Facebook followers actually came as a result of that $1,000 investment in the spring. We're up to a total of 551 right now. In that $1,000 ad spend, we were able to get 49,333 paid impressions. And what that means is that's how many times that advertisement was viewed by an individual. It's not unique individuals, so if the same person saw it twice, it would count twice. However, over the entire year we've been doing this, we have had 20,000 unique people view at least one of our posts. So we've made 97 posts, and even though we only have 550 followers, that reach has been much larger than just those 550 individuals. One thing that I'd like to point out about the number of followers is I think it's important to have some context on that 550 follower number. So Park Ridge and Des Plaines have had Facebook pages for over 10 years. I looked at Park Ridge today, and on their page they said it was since 2008, so 14 years now. They're each at about 4,000 followers. District 64, District 62, they're in that 2,000 to 3,000 range. So that's just to say the maximum you're kind of going for here is probably going to be in that 2,500 to 5,000 follower range. You're probably unlikely to get, without significant investment in advertising, more followers than that. And of course, you know, as we talked from the beginning, one big challenge we're up against is when people conceptualize the world they live in, they identify primarily by the city they live in. So we have an additional handicap there trying to get to that high number. But there is proof here that advertising, even what I would call a relatively insignificant amount, can produce a lot of impressions. Now, the other advertising campaign we did was more recent. It was about a month ago when the Cook County Assessor's property tax appeal window was open. That was another $1,000 investment, and that gained 100,000 impressions on YouTube. And for that campaign, we used a 15-second ad that we shot with Assessor Cry, and it was just to promote the property tax, the free property tax appeal service that was available. We can follow up and we have additional information that would include like the number of people who actually clicked on the ad, but the 100,000 impression number we targeted at people who lived in the zip codes that correspond with Maine Township, and we targeted it, I believe, over the age of 40, I want to say, just because those people are more likely to be homeowners. So we weren't, wasting it on 18-year-olds looking up videos about Call of Duty or whatever video game they play these days. So those touch on kind of the high-level impression counts. The other thing that I guess I would mention is the number of emails we've opened. So we've been really impressed with the quality of the list that Richard has primarily maintained. Okay, he's back today. Hi, Richard. It's good to see you again. I know you were gone for a few weeks. And the reason why I say I'm impressed with the quality of that list is because we've had a consistent 40 to 50% open rate on our monthly emails since implementing them. And that's proof that those are people who are interested in Maine Township. They're taking the time to open the email. It's not going straight to their spam folder, which is evidence that the content we're putting in there is considered high quality by the artificial intelligence systems that dictate whether they go into an inbox or into a spam filter. And what helps keep us out of spam filters is a high open rate. And we have that right now. So 17,000 open emails over that time is something that I think is a good figure. Shred Day was the most popular Facebook post. I thought that was interesting. But the second or third place was the notice that Assessor Cry sent about the late property tax bills. We saw a ton of engagement on that one. A lot of comments, likes, and that one was just underneath the Shred Day promotion for the number of unique views.
So they can give you a thumbs up, thumbs down, any of the articles too, or is it just opening up the articles?
As far as like opening the e-newsletter, there is the option for them to reply to the email. It goes to the info@mainetown.com email address. Richard, is that you that has eyes on the info@mainetown.com email address?
That's Dana.
Dana, okay. I don't know, have we received a lot of replies? Yeah, I wouldn't figure. So there is the option, if they do click reply, to give feedback or to ask questions about anything in there, but it's not typical for people to reply to.
Well, it's all informational, so.
Yeah.
I saw the commercial several times, thought it was great.
Oh, thank you. So you saw it come up on your YouTube. That's wonderful to hear. Good. Thank you for sharing that.
I told Susan, like, yeah, you're famous, right? Yeah, saw it.
Okay, all right. I'll just open it up if you're done with a little summary. Should I just open it up for questions now? Any questions from the board members?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I have found Marty and Robert to be communicating with me constantly. I mean, I get an email, sometimes multiple emails every day. So, and Dana, I think you do too. So they are constantly asking us what's going on, or, just observing information that they're seeing that we're posted, that, we send, or that they get from the department heads, and asking if it's okay to post various things that they have in mind on various different sites in different ways, or in the e-newsletter and so forth, or just by regular little press releases. So I've just found them to be in constant communication with us, and I just have been really pleased with how much attention we have received during the past year. So that's been very gratifying.
Well, I think the social media posts have been great. I mean, I've shared them in other groups, and like the one on appealing your property taxes was huge. Like people were really like, how do we do this? What do we do? Like, oh my gosh. And so a lot of people did call and say they were coming in here. So I think just even people getting used to seeing what we're doing and knowing what services are provided, I think it's been great. So
Yeah, right, because I think the biggest challenge all townships have are the community really doesn't know what we do. And you'll tell them, I'm a township trustee. So what is that and what do you do? And you try to explain it and they're like, oh, okay. Kind of let me do like, well, does that affect me? Well, yeah, yes. So the fact that you've really increased the awareness in the township of what we do and all the things that we offer, it's really great. So I appreciate everything you guys are doing and hope to continue.
Well, we appreciate that feedback, and one thing I just want to mention too is one thing that's really helped us out that we didn't necessarily touch on here was Trustee Horvath's inclusion and kind of implementation of the Canva program for the township, because that's really allowed us to really brand our Facebook posts and social media posts in a way that's uniquely Maine Township, and we just look forward to continuing on using that style. So.
well, it looks, I mean, everything looks very professional, and it looks like the images that you guys pick and everything is just very simple and easy to read. It kind of catches your eye. It's not like tons of text and confusing. It's just like, appeal your property taxes, do this, shred your documents, so it's been great.
Yeah.
So, John, I think it's your intention just to talk to us tonight to get feedback, and then you'll return next month with a contract for us to look at and hopefully decide again. But I think one other thing you wanted to ask tonight is if we wanted anything different in next year's contract. Would that be correct?
Yeah, so we're prepared to come back next month with the same terms and agreements that we agreed to per our amended agreement in the spring, where we lowered the number of blog posts and increased the number of social media posts, with the exception that we would take out the marketing audit. That was supposed to be a one-time onboarding, but everything else would remain the same. You get another set of 3 professional videos like we shot this year. The 3rd one's coming next month, and there would be no cost increase.
Anyone have any questions or anything they would like to see in the new contract, or anything they did not think was something they wanted next year in the contract?
I just want to thank Marty and Robert, for their great job. And especially, when they posted on the Pakistan and Indian Independence Day, the Pakistani Indian communities, liked the post. And one time, I think I shared with maybe Eddie, so I was watching a Hindi movie, and suddenly I saw, Assessor Susan, she's talking. I said, who this person is? So, so I see her somewhere, I cannot imagine, you're watching Hindi movie and you see the commercial about the Maine Township and, and about the property tax. Susan, Assessor Susan is telling. So, the great effort, you guys, I really appreciate it.
That's great to hear, because if you remember when we were back here last year, that was the main thing that we wanted to accomplish, right? The main mission there, so that's great to hear.
All right. Okay, unless there's any other questions, thank you, gentlemen, and we'll see you
Just
next
one
month.
other thing, I comment, and I like the presence of, like, I see Robert in the township.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, we'll see you next month.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thank you. All right, now I'd like Mike Would you step up to the microphone, because you have the next couple items here. Okay, another new business item is discussion and possible vote on sidewalk repair. So I guess to look into the sidewalk. We had someone trip, maybe more than one person trip on a little bit in the rise in the sidewalk that heads over to General Assistance Office. And there were cones out there for a while to make sure no one tripped again. And I asked you, or I think we talked about looking into whether or not we could have some outside company address it. And please just tell us what you found as a result of doing that.
So I went ahead and I got some quotes. Of course, I only got one back on this, but reviewing this and looking at it, it's a quote for $2,550. That's for 3 squares that we were going to go ahead and replace out there. So if you average it out, it's $850 a square, which I find to be pretty expensive. So that was something where they were tripping, we were just going to go ahead, grind it down, and just take care of it ourselves in-house, rather than going out and spending that money this year. So that's something that we were just going to look to take care of in-house rather than...
All right. So I only saw one real problem spot where people were tripping.
Right.
It's just an inch or two above the...
Correct. Yeah, it's nothing crazy, but unfortunately, yeah, people keep falling. So it's, we put out the cones for the time being, but something that we should go ahead and take care of.
So you're going to try and in-house, grind it down and maybe put cement there so
Correct.
to smooth it out.
Yes.
We'll see if that works.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so thank you. We don't have to vote on any expenditure tonight.
Right.
And maybe this in-house work will take that problem altogether.
Yes.
So thank you for looking into that.
Of course, you're welcome.
All right. So we don't need a motion on that, but we do have another item here. Would you please explain what this is about the sump pump
Sure.
replacement?
So pretty simple, inside of the mainstay electrical room, we have dual sump pumps, one of them just went out. So we're down to one, and I'm looking to go ahead and just replace it with the exact same sump pump. $1,307 is the estimate, and that would be done in-house as well. So there's no labor cost, it would just be the pump. The expense would just be the pump.
Okay. And you think there's one supplier for it, and that's where you're going to get it from?
There's a supply house in Palatine that I'm looking to go ahead and get it from. Price is basically the same, so I know inside, I just gave you a quick little example of what it is, and like I said, there's one in Palatine where we got the last pump. So that's what I would look to go ahead and do, purchase that, and like I said, just do the work in-house and be done with that.
Okay, all right. So it's actually below the expenditure that I can authorize, but I think under the rules, I'm supposed to bring it to you to see what it is and what we're spending money on. So do I have just a motion to approve an expenditure to replace the sump pump?
Sure. Motion to approve the expenditure to replace the sump pump.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Maybe roll call, please.
Supervisor Leonard?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Bubba?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
All right. Okay, well, maybe we should do the third one that you have. This is actually going back to old business, the tree removal and tree trimming. So we have a memo from you in our packet regarding this too.
Right.
Would you walk us through it? Speaking of walks, some of us have walked around the property, looked at the trees out there, and it noted that some did not look very good.
Right.
So
Okay.
would you just sort of walk through what we have in your memo here and what these quotes are about?
Sure. So I reached out to 4 companies and got 4 different quotes. They're a little different, but I decided to go with GM Tree Service for $4,750, and they would be going ahead and cutting down all 15 trees, where 2 of the other companies, one wanted to do like some applications to go ahead, their disease and stuff like that, to go ahead and stop that, but it's going to be recurring. So once they stop, it goes back to do the same thing again. And then the other one was trimming, but again, you're going to have a tree where it's not going to be full, half of it's going to be just very thinned out, and you're probably maybe from a lot of the guys that had come out, you're basically maybe another year or 2 away from probably going ahead and getting rid of it altogether. So that was my determination on coming to the conclusion for myself, in my opinion, my recommendation to go with DM Tree Service.
All right, and that would be for all the services that they propose to perform, is that
Correct, yes.
Okay, all right. All right, do we have a motion, and we will have time to discuss it too, but do we have a motion to engage DM Tree Service to perform all the services related to tree trimming and tree removal that are outlined in their proposal? Do I have such a motion?
So moved. Second.
Now, are there any questions or comments regarding the motion which is pending?
You know, I think the last meeting, I request for the landscape contract. So my opinion, that was not, there's no scope of work, but are they going to do it? So if we keep the same landscape company, now you're cutting, I think, almost 15 trees. So next time you have to maybe remove another some trees because the maintenance not done properly.
So I think the contract that we have, it says that our landscape company will cut down bushes and trees up to 6 feet in height. So they won't do larger trees and equipment, trees and.
Yeah, but I got it, but we should hire the company to take care of all the trees and the shrubs and, instead of, and even the contract doesn't say, I have the copy of the contract here, it doesn't say when I know it say April to November, but it doesn't say what date you sign it, and there's no scope of work on that. I have a copy here, let me show you the copy. There are the copies. And even they just cutting the shrub, there's no say when they're going to fertilize it, when they're going to, to take care of the grass once a month, twice a month. There's no scope of work. And there's no date. And there's no date you sign the contract.
Okay, you're saying that there's no notary?
No, this is the copy I got from the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, my opinion is we should find a professional landscape company to take care of everything.
I think, well, go ahead.
What I was going to say is I can go, usually what I'd like to do is go ahead and get 3 more quotes for this. And I can go ahead and talk to landscapers and see if they go ahead and even do any of that to include the tree trimming with it, and then come back to the board in another meeting or 2 and let you know what I found out there, if we can go ahead and get something like that as well.
But Mike, have you already looked into whether or not
Usually
landscaping companies will do tree removal?
It's usually 2 separate things. Even with say like weeds and things like that, it's a different company that's going to come out like a True Green to go ahead and do things like that. As far as like what Asif, Trustee Malik was saying, they come out here every single Monday to do the landscaping, so they are here every single Monday. And even with that, it comes out to $337 a week. They're pretty much pruning shrubs, bushes, and trees only, as Supervisor Diamond said. It is just shrubs and evergreens up to 6 feet. And they will, even the front tree, they'll go ahead and they'll trim that back and do certain things like that. One thing that I do like about this company is we've been with them for quite some time, and under their new ownership since 2019, their prices stood the same. And in a world where inflation has been all over us, $13.50, like I said, I'm going to go out there, I'll get some quotes for us and come back to the board and, see where we're at with it. And like I said, even for Trustee Malik, I'll see if we can go ahead and find a combo like that.
So, all right, I think what we're looking at for next year, because this contract that we have right now runs to the end of the year, December.
Through November.
Okay, through November, the
Yes.
landscaping company. So you're talking about a landscaping company for next year to see if any of them
Yes.
will include future tree removal problems
Yes.
that we might have. But for right now, we're still looking at removing these particular trees by DM Tree Service.
Yes.
Which is the motion on the floor.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay, did you have a question?
Well, I just wanted to, this is great, Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
I agree, usually there is a separate service for trees removal. But just one note, when we did our walk around, there was also a lot of overgrowth in this area back here of, that's not included in this.
Oh, like on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
They will, sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
They will do that, so like the
Oh,
prairie,
which one?
like you're talking the prairie garden where like our garden was
Yeah,
at? They will do that, so it all depends on like what the board wants, our landscaping company.
Oh, okay.
Not the tree company, but our landscaping company actually, so I did talk with them today and wanted to make sure like I was on top of everything, and when they come out next Monday, they're gonna take back a lot of that stuff since it's the end of the year.
Okay.
But even during like our springs and summers when they're out here, if we tell them like, if you just bring it back, leave it at a certain level, they will do that for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and some years we've had it where, we used to have like Oakland Community College take care of a lot of that. One of the guys over there did it, and then I don't know what happened to that through the years, but if we ask them to do it, they've done that in the past. So there's times where it's kind of out of control, there's times where it all depends on what we want, but they would do it.
All right, I was just wondering, because there's some weed trees in there that have gotten very tall, so I wasn't sure if they would be able to take some of them down there.
The weed trees?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will talk to them about that, but like a lot of the other stuff that hangs over the sidewalk, those are the type of things where they would go ahead and take that back. For the weed trees, I will go ahead and make sure that I find that out as well when I come to the table again with new estimates.
Thank you.
All
You're
right,
welcome.
okay. All right, any other discussion regarding this motion about tree removal and tree trimming? No? All right, we have a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, did you have something?
I'm sorry, what is
Tree trimming, did you have anything on tree trimming?
the motion on the table, though, what is it?
It's regarding awarding the contract to DM Tree Service for tree
Oh,
removal.
I thought he was looking at the,
No, that's for next year, for the landscaping company, that will need it after November 30th.
Right.
To see
Yes.
whether or not they would wrap up landscaping service and future tree removal.
Yes.
Yeah.
you want to say something?
All right, I think I was asking for a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Mali?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item we have on our agenda, going back to the order, was discussion and possible vote on the estimated general town fund, general assistance and road and bridge levy ordinance. So you have received that in your packet. We have the two separate ones. One is the estimated town tax levy ordinance for the general town fund and for general assistance. The other one, separately prepared, is the road district estimated levy. So you have both of those. Perhaps I should do separate motions. I don't know. Separate motions? Okay, all right. All right, do you have a motion to adopt the township and general town fund estimated tax levy ordinances?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, all right. In terms of discussion, I think you've had an opportunity to look at this one. It provides for a 4.9 increase, and that level of increase would not require a hearing. The increase would be on the total amount of levy, and as you can see on the third page, what our levy would be. The general town fund, approximately 4.4 million. The general assistance fund, which is hard to see, 867,000 approximately. All right, are there any questions or comments regarding the estimated tax levy ordinance? All right, hearing none, may I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Mali?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we will move on now to our next estimated levy, and that is for the road district. You also received this in your packet, and I'd like a motion on that, and then our Highway Commissioner Bouvet can address it if he'd like to do so. So may I have a motion to adopt the estimated tax levy ordinance for the Maine Township Road District?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. All right, we do have a motion on the table. Commissioner Bouvet, would you like to talk about the estimated tax levy that you have here this evening to present?
Sure. I mean, basically, we would like to keep it flat this year. Obviously, with the inflation costs and everything, we would like to keep it the way it is to not add any additional burden to the taxpayer while at the same time pursuing grant funding and MFT monies to offset that cost of inflation. So we'd just like to keep it the same moving forward. So.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Commissioner. All right, any questions about that? No. All right. May I have a roll call?
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Bova?
Yes.
Trustee Valley?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. By the way, I'll have all the signed ordinances here. I'll just leave them here for you, okay? Sure. Because you will get them to Pete to sign off on later.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That brings us to our official reports. One of the first things I want to do before we move on is ask Austin if he'll introduce a new employee who works in his department.
Sure.
Would you like to step up the microphone with Ely? Sure.
This is our newest employee, I think, to the whole township.
It is.
Haley Reyes. She is our new senior and disability specialist. So she is SHIP certified, which means she knows everything Medicare related. She jumped right in and started taking clients, which made it very easy for me, so I thank you for that. And she's already been trained on live and everything, so she pretty much can do everything that we ask her in a very short amount of time. So we are very happy to have her.
Haley, welcome to Maine Township. We are thrilled to have you. Our last person who who advised seniors, Karen Cohen, left a while ago, and we're very glad that you were here to fill her shoes, especially since we're in the Medicare open enrollment period right now as we speak. And I know a lot of seniors are interested in getting help with that. So we're glad that you come to us and that you come here with SHIP certification. So I think you'll be a great asset for the township, and we just want to welcome you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Just reviewing some of the things that have happened recently. Nick, you were participating in Crop Walk, right? And that raised funds for the township. We're getting a lot of donations, like I understand in the very recent past. That is, Nina and Mike have mentioned they picked up items repeatedly for the pantry. Maine Township High School also donated goods for the pantry too, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Other things that have happened lately is we had an agency funding on a meeting on October 18th. A TAC meeting here at Maine Township, that's the township officials of Cook County, met here with me an evening last week. And it's just very interesting to compare what different townships do, how they spend their money, how big they are, how small they are, what programs they focus on, and so forth. So I found it very interesting. Last Saturday, I went to appear at the Park Ridge Farmers Market. I had a table there for our food pantry, and then later joined several of our staff members, including Alicia and Jessica and Mike, at the shredding event at Maine Township, which was very popular. Mike, you didn't have to count how many people came through yet, did you?
Not yet, Mayor, I'm sorry. No.
You can do that on the tape video. Yeah. We also had visits from Senator Villa Valera and Representative Mike Kelly. So I was interested to see them expressing some interest in what we do here at the township. Coming up, the North Suburban Legal Aid Program will be this Thursday. It's going to be at 6 p.m. It will be by Zoom. So I encourage all of our board members to attend. You can just get a link, and the presentation will just take about a half hour. And you can learn more about the services that they provide. On Friday, we're going to have flu and COVID booster shots here at Maine Township. So if you haven't got yours yet, you can come by and get a coupon for Jewel at the same time.
Karen, is there a age for those? Is it like
You know,
younger? Is it 12?
I'm sorry, I'm not absolutely sure about that. It might be 12 or older. I think you set it up for now.
I think when I read it, it said 12 and over.
I didn't know if they would have that.
And 65 and over for the flu.
Okay.
You know, I'm sorry, I can't.
I could be wrong.
I
That's what I read.
think they
Probably
have,
right.
I think they have regular flu shots, but the special super duper flu shots for people over 65, they also have those.
Ah, okay. I think the COVID probably is the standard age, that we can get it if you're under 12, so.
You can get it if you're 5 to.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah, because remember we had a COVID event for kids last,
Oh, okay.
a year ago or
We can check the ages and then let the board know.
Yeah, because they had just approved the new Omicron booster for kids like a week ago or 2 weeks
Okay,
ago, so I
then-
didn't know if you would have it yet.
All right, well, I'll double check. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all
What
right.
is the time for that again?
10 to 12, 10 a.m. to 12, I'm pretty sure it's morning.
Yeah,
till noon. And then on Halloween, we'll be having donuts in the morning if you want to come out there, Susan. That's it.
Ooh, And can I just ask a question about going back to the COVID thing? Do you have to bring your card with?
Yeah, I don't know that you have to, but I think it's a good idea.
I think they need to do that for them to give you a boost.
Sometimes they'll give you a new card if you don't bring yours, but
But I think that you have to bring
you
that.
should bring it. just so
Right,
they can see
because then they can
it.
see what you've had and
Good idea. Good idea.
I,
Because they want to add it on there too.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah, and I plan to attend the toy conference in mid-November, so that should be interesting too. And I want to turn it over to other officials, if you have any reports or anything you want to add about past events or events that are coming up that you're aware of. Just want to give you an opportunity to do so.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
Thank you. If you have noticed, anybody in the township, you notice we quieted down, so we did finish our appeal process. We did 2,000 appeals, and that was like within 20 days because we're not here on the weekends. But staff was here early and then late. And appeals, I want to just tell you, a typical appeal with conversing with people and getting their information for each person, 20 minutes maybe, it's on average. But we also have people who are in need of more help. We've had a lot of fire situations for appeals, and we have to do that with the assessor's office. There's a big punch list that we have to get from them. It takes a considerable amount of time, and a lot of times it's a revisit with these people again. And then we have needy people who call us continually, and we try to explain things to them, and so it's, I've had like a situation where someone that's called like 5 times. So it takes a lot of time, staff, they wear out. I have to supply them with water and maybe a snack in between, so just to get themselves back to being a normal person. And they were only taking half-an-hour lunches. Right now we are working on finishing, we did the exemptions. Right now, if people want to file exemptions, it has to be a certificate of error. So what that means is that hopefully we can get a revised tax bill for them for the second installment, but they better like hurry up, because otherwise they're gonna have to pay their tax bill. We do a certificate of error, they get a check three months later from the treasurer's office. So it takes like 3 months for them to get that. Also, we have our state equalizer, the rate came out. It's 3.007, I think, is that right? So, you know what that means? It's a little bit closer to the tax bill. That's going to be coming out, the second installment. We still have the rest of our numbers in. We're not closed with, appeals and that, and so that's certainly a problem. And we're telling people we have a second option to appeal for the 2022 tax bill with the Cook County Board of Review, but that is not going to happen. We're estimating December, and we can't hold ourselves to that because we're not sure with the list and how long everything is taken. I heard the assessor had to revise with Northfield Township. They put an estimated value on properties that were twice to 3 times the level that they should have been. So they had to resend letters out to those people to do a reassessment on them. So everything is just taking a little bit longer. They put this new system into place, and it doesn't connect and jive with everybody else, with the treasurer's office, with county board of review. So it's a little bit of an undertaking, and the process is slow. So hopefully it won't result in a lot of different entities to have to take out loans because of this tax bill being so late. I have something coming up with the appeals. We have a workshop. It's going to actually be in Niles, and I'm co-sponsoring with Michael Carpenarci, who is our commissioner. So that is going to take place in, where is that? November 3rd. November 3rd at 6 o'clock. People will be able to go through a little bit of information series on how to do the appeal with the Cook County Board of Review. And I think that they'll be able to do a pre-appeal. They can put paperwork with them. But if they choose not to do that, they can certainly come back with us and we'll do the appeal for them, no problem. So that's basically what I have. I mentioned tax bills maybe in December, and yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
I did have a follow-up question for you. What is the latest guess as to when those tax bills are going to go up?
Well, like I said, the state equalizer just came out, so that's the first kind of step. Now we have to wait for the municipalities, and everything is not in yet. So with the Cook County Board of Review, we're getting all our numbers still in. It's, you know, we're hoping that it will be December, and there's going to be a lot of irate people if that doesn't come to be true, because if your tax bills come out in January, you're not going to be able to take advantage of that discount on your federal income tax, you know, up to the $10,000. That's going to be a problem.
Okay. Have you heard whether you can just sort of estimate what your tax is and just send in a dollar amount, which might be a little less or a little more, but you could still take it off on your taxes for 2022? Yes, that.
I would not.
They will not accept the payment.
They will not. They will not. I mean, the treasurer has to have it posted on her site. She might get it posted on her site before the tax bills come out, and people can watch, you know, her site and be able to pay it. But yeah, they won't accept the money. You have to have that little stub and go into if you pay a Chase and do that, or if you pay online. How are you going to do that? No, ain't working, ain't happening. Sorry.
Well, one reason I ask is, you know, we're sort of getting down to the bottom of the barrel when it comes to
money.
here.
Well, that's what I mentioned. I hope that a lot of, you know, different, you know, entities that are waiting for this money to be coming in, they're not getting it. They're going to go have to borrow, and the rates are horrific right now.
Right, and
go out and borrow.
So, something else I just want to bring to the board's attention is that not only, and I passed out copies of this, if you get down too. Yeah. Something I just printed off online today regarding how much money we owe the county treasurer because of refunds. And these refunds come for various reasons. Let's see, scavenger sale, a regular sale, various annual sale, there's various reasons here. But if you look down how much we currently owe the Cook County treasurer, and I'm talking about the town fund now, town fund owes over $14,000. So even when we do start getting tax revenues, the treasurer is going to be withholding funds. General assistance, the situation is even worse because there was no levy at all for general assistance for 2021, yeah, did I write it? 2021, 2020. I always forget what it is. So that fund owes $536,000. So, you know, even though money's going to be coming in, it's going to be going to pay these amounts that are due. to the county treasurer. Road and Bridge, a little bit better off, just owes about $8,000, you see that. But, you know, these refunds that we have to pay as a result of various refunds, I think this includes PTAB cases and circuit court cases. Yeah, PTAB refunds are in here too. Railroad refunds, everything, redemptions. There's, you know, it looks like 14 different reasons why people can get refunds, which means that we owe those amount then. So I just, you know, want to bring that to everyone's attention, that we hope to get those funds soon, but we're also in arrears with the county clerk, with the county treasurer. So anyway, all right. Any other announcements?
I just want to take my time to also say nice job to the assessor's office. I know it's not easy. They actually helped me with my tax appeal. Dealing with angry people all day, I'm sure it takes a toll, so I just want to say nice job to your staff.
Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. So at this point, I'd like a motion to go into closed session for the discussion of appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. May I have such a motion?
Motion to go into closed session for the appointment, discussion of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees.
Second.
All right. May I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Homer?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So we'll be going into closed session now. I don't anticipate that any votes will be taken on any matter after we return to open session. Okay. All right. Catherine, thank you for being here this evening. You can just, I mean, you can remain seated if you want, or go to the mic if you'd rather. It's up to you. You can just stay there. There's really... Yeah, right. So we have some questions regarding... Oh, correct. And now reopening the meeting to a open session. So, should I do a roll call again? I do another roll call.
Motion.
I don't know. We don't need a motion.
Not maybe, if you'd like to, it's not legal required.
Why don't you do a roll call again, just so we have it for the record.
Supervisor Diamond?
Here.
Trustee Jones?
Here.
Trustee Homer? Here. Trustee Martin?
Here.
All right. So, Catherine, we've asked you to be here because we have some questions regarding COBRA and regarding Blue Cross Blue Shield. And you're our insurance broker, and therefore we rely on you to give us accurate information regarding, especially regarding our insurance. So, as you may know, we have some employees on COBRA, and the general rule regarding COBRA, I understand, is that after an employee leaves, they may elect to receive up to 18 months of COBRA after that. Generally, they have to pay for it, but although this past year, some people were able to receive free COBRA under the American Rescue Plan for about 4 months. Normally, after the 18 months this period of time, a person is not entitled to remain under COBRA any longer, although there can be some exceptions for individuals who become disabled or divorced and so forth. But the questions I'm going to ask tonight do not relate to any instance where there is an entitlement to an extension. So I want to ask you if the township is requested to voluntarily extend COBRA, my understanding is that it can choose to do that, but that it is also up to the insurance company. Am I correct, or perhaps you can correct my understanding?
Yes, that is correct. And yes, that is correct. The insurance company has to approve it.
And how, when they approve it, does that an absolute determination whether or not the township has to provide it, or is that only with the concurrence of the township's agreement?
So I've never had this request like this before, exactly. So the carrier has approved it in this case, and so I would have to ask that question if it's a demand now because it has been approved, or if it can still be a decision. You know what I'm saying? Because
So you would need, am I understanding you saying you believe you would need to ask the carrier what their opinion
well,
was?
the carrier has approved it, so in the case that, does that mean the group can deny it if the carrier has approved it? I don't know the legal answer to that question, so I would actually want to ask an attorney, of course, not to put anyone here in a bad position, because obviously we are also in this situation dealing with someone of legal counsel. So I want to make sure I'm telling you the right things. And I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. If there's a position where you can deny it after the carrier has approved it. You know, in your handbook, it says, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about too, because this...
Well, let's turn to the handbook then.
Yes.
So you have in front of you an excerpt from our handbook, particularly at Section 5, Employee Benefits. And it is in Section 5.2, Health Insurance, subsection 4.
Yes.
And I'm just going to read that just so we all know what we're talking about here. Employees who retire before age 65 or become disabled may continue health insurance under Illinois Public Act 86-1444 to age 65, as long as they qualify and as long as premiums are paid by the former employee. Insurance coverage for spouses of such employees may be continued to age 65. And this is the sentence I want you to focus on. Upon reaching the age of 65, and if qualified, insurance coverage may be continued as a supplemental policy to Medicare. Now, I recently talked to you about a matter where the person has reached the age of 65. So it would seem that this sentence is applicable. Is that correct?
Yes, but I also want to explain that. So this is what's in your handbook, and I know this has been recently updated. Right?
Not this section.
Oh, not this section. This was always worded this way. Okay. But it also has to say in Blue Cross's paperwork, you know, when you filled it out, and that was years and years ago. I forget what year you guys went with Blue Cross. But you have never checked the box to say that you are allowing retirees. It's called retirees, whether you pay for it or they pay for it, doesn't matter. Because I've had townships do this before, where if you check the box that you want to allow retiree coverage, that means that anybody who was on the coverage, okay, that left, regardless of what age they are, we're just saying they retired from your employment, if their spouse was on it. I've had municipalities where the employee died, but the spouse stayed on it forever. But that was because that Blue Cross paperwork, the paperwork filed with the carrier, checked the box of retiree allowed, blah, 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 and then you put the stipulations of the timing of the years that they have to be with the employer to be eligible for that. Okay, so in that case, it was 8 years. A lot of companies put 10 years. That is not how your paperwork is filled out. So we have conflicting information. We have in the handbook that it's always said that you allow that. However, that was unbeknownst to me. And so you and I started sharing this. But the Blue Cross paperwork filed eons ago, and anything we filed ever since has always matched that you don't allow that. So these two things.
I don't know that it's always said that. We revised the handbook, Anson Lynn revised the handbook a couple years ago, and I don't know that it said that in the previous handbook.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know because I'm not really good at.
And that's something we can look at, and I think maybe there's a little bit of confusion here over continuation coverage for retired employees, and then COBRA continuation coverage for employees who have been terminated or have left employment. Because obviously there's IMRF obligations that require IMRF retirees to be able to continue on a plan after they retire. I think that's a separate independent
That's totally
issue.
separate.
And I think that might be a little bit more what that section 4 is referring to here.
Yeah.
Instead of the actual COBRA coverage, which is not aimed at retired employees, if I'm
Okay.
correct. And that's the way that I think that.
Yeah, and that very well maybe, I'm not really
Yeah,
sure about
and that's
that.
something we can check when we can go back and look at the handbook and see on that.
But as far as the COBRA goes, that was approved by Blue Cross. I was working towards what I thought everybody wanted, and I asked Blue Cross for the exception, and so they approved it for the exception to be granted.
Well, what does that mean, an exception?
For her to be allowed to be on longer. They actually gave us a date for her to be allowed to be on it until, I believe it was March 1st, 2024, but that's...
Where did that date come from?
That's what they told me on the phone, because I had given them some emails and they hadn't responded, so I called them on it, knowing that was when you followed up with me again and asked me if I had heard anything, have you heard anything on this, and so I just gave them a call instead of waiting for an email response from them. And she doesn't even want the coverage till then. She's still only asking for it until October of next year because of the reason why she wants the coverage. She only needs it until October of next year.
Okay, I just need a little clarification. So when we originally filled the paperwork out years ago, we did not check the box saying that we would like to continue with retirees, correct?
That retirees couldn't stay on, yeah.
Right, so then why would they approve it? Why would
They approved the COBRA being extended, not retiree coverage for her to be on for forever, but they approved COBRA coverage to be extended. And they can do that, in conjunction with you. And you and I had talked to you about, could that have implications on the township, and that's why.
Well, all right, can you explain what those implications could be for the township?
So,
if individuals are allowed to stay on COBRA past the point in time where they're required to be allowed to stay on COBRA?
right, so, you and I had discussed the fact that.
Just tell everyone.
Yeah, all the claims of anybody, you guys are claims rated. So there's two different things going on in the world out there. One is your claims based on your ratings, right? Every year when I come, I kind of go over what the claim history has been and stuff like that. So anybody who's on the policy is going to affect your rates, okay? Anything that happens every day, who knows what happens tomorrow, right? The specific reason that this exception was asked for and granted, we do have confirmation that that specific thing is not going to be a claim at all because it's a waiver.
And how do you know that? How do you know it's not going to cause rates to go up?
Well, that specific thing is, there's a waiver on that.
What does that mean, a waiver?
A waiver of costs from the pharmaceutical company.
Do we have that in writing? From the pharmaceutical company?
We do.
Okay, is that something you can share with us?
I have it too, and yeah, I've seen it too.
Is that, my understanding with previous conversations with you is that it could well cause our rates to go up.
Well, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with the person from day to day. So
No,
if you're
no.
talking about a specific thing or, anything can happen in claims. And so when we talked, I let you know that, based on claims, and who knows what tomorrow brings, right? Could be something else. Anybody on the policy can be a claims risk for anything.
But no, you didn't mention anything about a waiver. So are you telling me that with this waiver, the township premiums will not go up?
For that specific.
For that reason?
For that specific reason, right.
Okay, and we do have that in some type of document that we've received? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I believe it was emailed to you, and I got a copy of it too.
I haven't seen anything that tells me that.
But it's specific to that,
Medication.
yes. It's
Okay.
from the pharmaceutical company.
All right, I haven't seen anything from a pharmaceutical company that tells me what you're saying now. Is that something you can send to us? Okay.
Well, I don't know if I can send it. Because so the person sends it to you directly, because I can't really share anybody's personal. That's why I'm trying to be really careful about what I'm saying as well, because I have to protect everybody's.
Well, I haven't received anything from you or anyone else that tells me that there won't be any charge to the township, any increased rate to the township as a result of this person being given additional COBRA coverage, more months.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, clarification. So we gave them the 4 months free because of the American,
Rescue plan.
thank you. And then it was up to 18 months, that's coming up. But if COBRA is extended, it would be at their cost, right?
Absolutely, so it's 100%. It always is anyway. So anybody who leaves, if they want to extend coverage, which we haven't really had a lot of that at the township, people usually just go do something else. But we do have 2 people on COBRA.
Three people.
Now.
Three people.
Yeah, okay. We have 3 people on COBRA right now. And so they pay that premium at 100% of the cost. But what we were discussing was that all claims from all people affect the rates, whether they're COBRA or they're a current employee. Okay, so that's always going to affect your rates. You're not on a plan where the rate is the rate and the health conditions are not applicable. You're not on that kind of plan. You're on a plan where all your health claims for all your medical claims, your RX claims, everything, that's what makes up your rate every year.
So there's nothing that says that at age 65 they have to do Medicare Part B, right? There's nothing that says when you reach that age that you have to automatically sign.
Right, you do not. You don't have to take Medicare supplement. You get A automatically.
Yeah.
You have to nowadays go online and apply for it, but you get A automatically. B, you're only really going to pay for B if you're not on a group plan that's 20 lives or more. Because Part B, if you're on a group plan that's 20 lives or more, those claims are paid by the carrier. Because anytime you're on a group plan is 20 lives or more, it's considered primary. Meaning when you go to the doctor, you're going to give your group plan first and your Medicare second. And you're going to tell them, process group first and Medicare second. So there's no reason to have Part B. Okay? And yeah, and this is just saying that, in here, it's saying that along with Medicare, you can carry your group coverage as a supplement to Medicare after 65. That's what this is saying. But, meaning that they may never have to get Part B, right? Now, if this was a group 19 or less, they would, because it's treated differently. If it's a smaller group, then there are claims that won't be paid because Medicare's first and the group is second on smaller groups. So they would have to get Part B.
Well, just what, Kelly, did you
Yeah, I just was
understand?
trying to understand the timeline. I'm sorry if I misunderstood. You had said that you contacted the carrier to see if they would allow the extension?
Right.
Was that because this person requested that, or you just were?
Correct. The request was through the person.
Okay, so they came and asked if you, and then you looked into it. Okay, got it.
I was responding to Karen
Gotcha.
and the person who asked
Okay,
for it.
that's all I was trying to figure out. Thank you.
Did you have a question?
Can I ask a question?
I think so.
So, you're saying, this one thing, what it counts, whatever it is, but if someone comes down with another illness or needs medication, expensive medication, that will affect our rates directly, correct? During the time if we extend the coverage.
Correct. Anybody who, yes.
Okay, so I don't know that necessarily will matter if it's one thing, whatever it is you're talking about, is it covered? So it will affect the rates of the township and the employees, we pay 5% of the premium. So if other things develop, if we extend it, how many more months it is, 11 months, whatever. If you don't know what other things can happen, you never know, okay?
Okay, I have a question for Kurt. So if we grant this one individual voluntarily extend their COBRA for a period of time, does that set a precedent for what we need to do with respect to other employees who are currently on COBRA or other board members who might be on COBRA, or employees who might be terminated in the future who could be on COBRA?
Certainly. I think if we do it for one, we should expect that other employees or officials on COBRA might ask for the same continuation. The safest option in a situation like this is to craft a generally applicable policy that would apply equally instead of doing one-offs. That avoids any claims of disparate treatment or different treatment of how we decide to grant extensions or not grant extensions. And I think that would require an amendment to the personnel policy to affirmatively extend that COBRA period, and I assume that would also require the approval of the carrier before we even decided to do that, because that would be outside of just this one, for other individual instances.
Right, so there is a document that we need to change at renewal time if you're going to want to allow people who have left here to continue coverage beyond the regular COBRA rules. There's a document that we should update it.
But that doesn't have to be done until next
Right.
summer, right? Next
For
renewal.
July 1st,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, if this is going to remain worded this way, and we should update that document.
Okay. All right. I want to know if anyone has any other questions. Yes, that's it.
Section 3, you say the COBRA cost is paid by the participant, right? Total cost.
Yes, that is correct.
So I don't understand why we have voluntarily agreed with this person to continue with COBRA when that person is paid the whole amount. So why we have to agree on?
You're saying, why is there a question about?
No, I said why we have to agree for that person or any person, for the COBRA to continue. The Maine Township, why we have to agree when here they say the cost of the contingent coverage shall be borne solely by the participant. So why we have to agree for that person to continue for COBRA? That my question is.
Right. Well, there's no question about who pays for it in here. Maybe I'm not understanding the question already, but let me know. But there's no question about who pays for it in here. The question is about if you're going to allow them to continue outside the COBRA rules.
Okay, I rephrase my question. Let's say I am Maine Township employee. I need a COBRA. I am paying my cost. So why I ask Maine Township board to to agree on my COBRA to continue? Then I am paying for my COBRA. That's my question. So why Maine Township involved on this to continue the COBRA? That's my question.
Why are they asking Maine Township to
To be
continue
agreed.
it? To continue it?
Mm-hmm.
So,
She here within 18 months, right?
I'm sorry?
She did her,
She's had her 18, there's a couple people that used to sit in your seats that are on coverage now that as of December 1st, it expires. Okay? The regular COBRA 18 months expires. We had an individual ask for an extension because they have a certain situation that they would like to continue the coverage until October. And so in order to get an approval on that, I had to ask for it from the carrier.
and maybe I'm wrong, is that you're wondering why she even has to come to us if she's responsible for the cost anyway.
And again, let's take it back to the attorney issue. I don't even know if it's okay for you guys to say yes or no, because the carrier has said yes. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not legal counsel. I would have to.
You have to check with the carrier's attorney as well.
Why wouldn't we have been consulted before the carrier was asked, if we have to approve it? Like,
With the carrier.
wouldn't it have been kind of logical to ask us if we were willing to approve it before we went to the carrier?
Well, I think that goes more to the fact we don't have meetings every day. We only,
Well, is the carrier?
if the carrier had said absolutely not, there would have been no point in bringing the carrier off.
That's where we thought it was going, honestly, so. I
Because
think-
initially they said no. Initially they said no, so
So then
I thought that was the end of it.
Yeah, but conversely, if we had said no, there would have been no reason to ask the carrier.
Well, that's true.
So this is very much a lesson learned in how we should proceed with something in this, obviously in the future, but I mean, in this case, there was direct contact, okay, not only with me, so it didn't go that way, but in the future, we should have it go that way, but,
So when they said no, then did they call back later and say, hey, we changed our mind? Or was there an initial, or like a further contact with them to say, like to ask them again, are you sure you don't want to change your mind?
So, no, it didn't go that way. Originally, when I was first asked the question, I gave the rules, and I said, this is how it is. I don't think this would get approved. That's what I said initially. And then, after further conversation and emails and things like that, I said I would go back and check. I mean, I would ask, but I didn't think it was something that would be approved.
I think the original answer that they gave you was that it wasn't approved, right?
I'll have to look at my emails again, but I'm pretty sure I just didn't think it would be approved.
Okay. So is the first step finding out if we have legal?
I think, Catherine, you said you're going to check to see.
Yeah, I could check to see if it's even.
Like, can the carrier force us to answer this?
I think that's kind of a threshold question, yes.
Yeah, if we went back to the carrier and said,
we find out about the legalities of it.
because maybe they assume that we have approved it because we're asking them for an extension.
So if we do still need to make a decision, and it sounds like according to Kurt that we should amend our policy, and you will all need to decide if you want to make a motion and, how you want to vote at the next meeting.
What would we be amending it to?
I don't
Taking
know.
out that sentence?
I'm not
So
sure.
we would have to provide a longer COBRA period than the
Or an
mandated
optional.
18 months. Yeah.
An optional one.
Yeah.
Or specifically say we won't do it?
Yeah, or.
Or I think, yeah, I guess maybe clarify that, amend that section to say if we would provide an additional COBRA period.
But if we aren't willing to do that, I'm not saying we aren't. If we
Just
aren't
do
willing
not
to do it, then.
We don't have to
need
change the
okay,
policy.
Right.
Does anyone have any other questions of Catherine? Or
It's kind of a quagmire.
Or of Kurt?
No.
Or want to make any comments or arguments? Or, we can't vote on it tonight, but, I'm going to ask you to contact me between now and the next board meeting regarding what you want to do.
This is a little sensitive issue for, I don't know, but I can say we can decide this in a closed session.
Unfortunately, this is not a topic that we can discuss in closed session.
So, okay.
I don't think we can answer it until we get the legal questions answered. Because whether or not we have,
Or do we even have
what
the
are
legal authority to say yes or
right.
no?
And if we do, and we decide not to, then do they have, can the carrier force us to do it? I don't
Correct. So that's the other, well, I mean,
I don't think we can,
I mean, that's the
looking at this, if we say yes, this will be effect on everybody, the Maine Township has to change the rates, so these are more expensive, I guess.
Right. I just
So-
think this sets a little precedent.
I don't think so.
All right, and unless there's any further questions or comments or discussion, I think we asked all the questions that we have. Catherine, thank you for appearing here tonight.
Thank you.
You know, it's so late, so thank you for waiting around until we were able to get to this matter. And I think that at this point I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? Second.
Supervisor Diamond? Yes.
Trustee Jones? Yes. Trustee Warren? Yes. Trustee Warren?
Yes.
Thank you.